Television business is still on the 20 minutes health break, and at the time business was suspended. The House was considering a motion to restrict the mining of gold, sugilite and emeralds to the state. That this House urges the government to restrict the mining of gold, emeralds and sugilite to the state, and at the time business was interrupted. It was Nkana Member of Parliament. The mover of this motion, Mr. Bino Mpundu, was on the floor of the House debating this, moving this motion.
And we do expect Mr. Christopher Kangombe, Kamfinsa, Member of Parliament, to second this motion.
We also had the Create a National Miners Day motion, which was moved by Kantanshi Member of Parliament, Ms. Anthony Mumba, urging the government to create a National Miners Day in recognition of the contribution of the miners to the development. And it was Mr. Hudson Mabeta, Kankoyo Member of Parliament, who seconded this motion. And when the question was put after a Member of Parliament debated this motion, the motion was adopted.
The House has so far considered 3 ordinary questions under Standing Order 80. And the first question did come from Mr. Simon Banda, Dauka Central Member of Parliament, as well as Mr. Joy Chibuye, Member of Parliament, also did pose a question to the Minister of Education. The other question did come from Mr. Engineer Raphael Mabenga, Mlovez Member of Parliament, who posed a question to the Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
And 3 urgent matters without notice were considered when business resumed at 14:30. It was Luncha Member of Parliament, Mr. Mtoto Kafuaya, which was inadmissible, Ron Member of Parliament, and his matter was on the maize lying in different parts of the country with the onset of the rains. He was asking if government was in order not to collect these maize because these maize will go to waste. For now, we'll cross over to the floor of the House.
Madam Speaker.
So, Joe, we were talking about the urgent matters without notice that were considered were 3. One came from Mr. Bino Mpundu, and this was admissible together with the Ron Member of Parliament as a matter of urgent without notice was also admissible, and we expect the ministerial statement, or the minister to render ministerial statement on the 4th of November 2025. And currently there is no quorum on the floor of the House, and the bells are ringing as members of Parliament are getting back from having their health break. We now have a quorum. We cross over to the floor of the House for the resumption of business.
Order, honorable members. When business was suspended, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Member of Nkana, Honorable Member from Nkana, that this House urges the government to restrict the mining of gold, emeralds and sugilite to the state, and the Honorable Member from Nkana was moving his motion. May the Honorable Member continue.
Madam Speaker, before I was interrupted, I was trying to give information from impeccable research sources that indicated, as an example, that Zambia today is mining per annum over 3,000 kgs of emerald. Today, Madam Speaker, our emeralds are superior to emeralds of Colombia. Today, Madam Speaker, all things being equal, per annum, we are generating not less than 10 billion of resources from the emerald resources. Madam Speaker, it will interest the August House that today we've discovered gold in almost every part of the country. Today, Madam Speaker, in the wisdom of God, we have even uncovered what we never thought we had in the name of sugilite. We have experienced this episode before. In previous years, when government would manage these mineral resources, what this motion seeks to do, in the advent of the challenges we are having today, I am urging government that perhaps we need to change course to now allow government to start managing these strategic minerals for the benefit of our people. Because, Madam Speaker, we have been here. Our people have not gotten any benefit other than the little we are getting from taxes. It will interest you, Madam Speaker, if you look at the 2026 national budget of almost $10 billion, the revenues we are collecting from the mining sector entirely accounts for just around 2 billion, which is just about 10%. We are a mining country, Madam Speaker. It would be thought that our mining resources should give us at least over 50% of what we need for our annual budget. Alas, Madam Speaker, we are getting not more than 10% of what we need for our budget. This is what is calling on me, or what has necessitated me to ask this government to now get involved at least in these strategic minerals, namely emerald, namely gold, and sodalite. As opposed to entertaining criminal activities, reports of people walking away with these lucrative minerals, I am saying, can government now take possession of these strategic minerals and mine it for the benefit of our people? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Madam Speaker, I wish to debate now with your permission.
The honorable member for Kafinsa. Old age.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the privilege to allow me to make a few comments on a very important topic relating to restricting gold mining, emerald mining, and sodalite mining, Madam Speaker, to the state. And allow me to state from the onset, Madam Speaker, that I support this very, very important proposal that has been presented today. Madam Speaker, I have been very consistent on this topic. I'm sure you remember, Madam Speaker, that in the month of June, I was authorized through a motion of adjournment to speak about Kikonge mine and how the government of the Republic of Zambia should take over the mine in Mfumbwe. And true to my submission, Madam Speaker, you remember that the response from government was that the state would take over, and that took place, Madam Speaker. So consistently, I think on various platforms that have been given to speak on this topic, Madam Speaker, I have been very consistent, and I will not depart from my position. My position remains, Madam Speaker, that for many years we have acquired the skills. Madam Speaker, my position remains that I believe in the capacities of Zambians, and I think that this is a conversation that all of us by now have come to acknowledge, that a time must come, Madam Speaker, when we should ask ourselves very basic questions. Do we need to continue believing in the abilities of others, or we have to begin believing in the abilities of fellow Zambians? And today, the motion is saying, out of the many minerals that we need to mine, can we identify minerals? And today we're just discussing 3 minerals, Madam Speaker: gold, emeralds, and sodalite. And I'll start with the issue of gold, Madam Speaker. Our colleagues in Ghana decided to do something that we can actually emulate as a country. Our records are showing, Madam Speaker, that Ghana used to mine around 8 tons of gold, which could actually find its way into the gold reserves of Ghana. What did Ghana do to get from 8 tons to 38 tons? Madam Speaker, Ghana decided to change the law. And the law in Ghana is very clear. I believe our officials at the ministry are quite familiar with what happened in Ghana. The law was changed in 2023, Madam Speaker, to establish an institution called the Ghanaian Gold Board. So in Ghana, Madam Speaker, all the gold mining is done by the Ghanaian Gold Board. And what happens in Ghana, Madam Speaker, is that as a result of that one simple decision, the decision to change course, Madam Speaker, Ghana's volume of gold is worth $5 billion. And here we are today, Madam Speaker. We are saying government has already demonstrated intention. And we are here to remind government that this intention needs to be actualized. Are we going to continue mining and having 2.8 million tons of gold reserves, Madam Speaker, or today we will use this as an opportunity? Because, Madam Speaker, sometimes the proposals have to come from the opposition, sometimes the proposals have to come from your left, and then government has to carry these proposals, refine them and implement them. Because that is our mandate today, Madam Speaker, to look at key minerals that we can take advantage of and raise enough money. So today, Madam Speaker, as far as gold is concerned, we are not going to start creating any new mechanisms. Ghana has given us the model. The model is that you can actually restrict. You can actually announce that from now onwards, when the Ministry of Mines is issuing mining licenses, as opposed to issuing mining licenses, Madam Speaker, to any person who applies for a gold mining license or an emerald mining license, moving forward, Madam Speaker, this shall be done by the state and it shall accommodate the citizens who have acquired the skills. So today, Madam Speaker, emeralds, gold mining, for me the position, and I want to be consistent and I want to be on record, that can we begin reflecting on the possibilities of what we can do? Is it possible today, Honorable Minister of Mines, is it possible today that the skills that our people have acquired over the years, we can actually now begin discussing which financial model can we use to give our people the financial resources? Madam Speaker, we've been told that the biggest disadvantage that we've had over the years is the failure to raise the money. That's what we've been told, that we can't raise the money to invest into mining. Now, Madam Speaker, I believe that we have trained enough accountants over the last 30, 40, 50 years. I believe we have trained enough economists, Madam Speaker, for the last 50 years. And I believe it is possible that if we put people in a room to decide, can you brainstorm the right financial model to help us raise the money? Because the issue, Madam Speaker, has been about money. So today, we are saying let us restrict gold mining, let us restrict emerald mining, let us restrict sugilite mining. Someone will raise their hand and say, do we have the resources? That is why we've been training people, Madam Speaker. That is why Zambia has been training people on modeling for finances to be raised. We have enough wisdom, Madam Speaker, in the ministry of people that can tell us, we tried this model, it didn't work, let us try this model. Because the issue is basically investing money. And I believe, Madam Speaker, that it is possible. After acquiring independence, 61 years after independence, Madam Speaker, the conversation should change. And the conversation should change, Madam Speaker, around the possibility of us restricting these three specific minerals: gold mining, emerald mining, and I'm coming from the Copper Belt, and I'm happy Honorable Minister of Local Government cited an example of Lumberland. The many precious stones we are discussing, some of them are in Lumberland. People come, Madam Speaker, from foreign countries, come into Zambia, acquire the licenses, go into Lumberland, Madam Speaker, and become rich. Why can't we try it ourselves? Why can't we give ourselves, whether it's 1 year, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 5 years, we give ourselves a window of attempting to try. We give it a shot, Madam Speaker. If we fail, I want to repeat what I said in June. If we fail, Madam Speaker, and I know we won't fail, we'll come back to this parliament and we'll be able to review. We'll tell ourselves, this is what we did. We stopped giving mining licenses to foreigners, and we gave mining licenses to entities that represent the state. Minister of Finance, you are in charge of the tax regime. You can actually go a step further and design a tax regime that will ensure that some of these options are considered. For me, Madam Speaker, I believe that it is possible. It is possible for us to restrict gold mining. It is possible for us to restrict emerald mining and sugilite mining, and we'll be able to give the best that we can in terms of raising the revenue that we're supposed to acquire. So, Madam Speaker, due once again to the limitation of time, we argue on behalf of the many proponents, the many people who believe in what we are discussing today, that today is an opportunity once again. We'll keep giving you opportunities as government to reflect on this option. And I know very well that there are quite a number of qualified people. Some are going to go into the commission, some will remain in the ministry, Madam Speaker, We have enough legislation. I don't think we even need to change the law. All we need to do is, can we restrict, if someone applies for a license, if it's gold mining, if it's emerald mining, if it's sugilite, Madam Speaker, it shall be for the state on behalf of the people of Zambia. Madam Speaker, I support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed, I wish to recognize the presence of a young lady, second-year law student, Christine Tanda Kafwaya. So you are welcome. Thank you very much. You may take your seat. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Mwinilunga.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my prayer is that this motion must fail. Madam Speaker, I always think that it is important before we bring motions to scan through what the government is doing, because then you would be able to see where there are gaps, where there are mischiefs, so that you can now propose on how to cure that mischief. It is also important, Madam Speaker, to ensure that we look back and see where we have come from.
Yeah.
The mover of the motion has given a catalogue of what has happened behind up to where we are. And I doubt the information, the statistics that he was giving here, because I think we have the same source of information. For me, my information is coming from the World Bank reports. Yes, indeed, from 1960 to 1969, our mining industry was in private hands. 1969, we privatized we nationalized the mines. 1969. I want to say that the economy of this country between 1960 and 1974 was actually doing very well. 3 years after nationalization, of course, there were spillover effects. Things changed in 1974. 1972, those of us who were there, 1972, the prices of copper went down. In 1972, the oil prices on the world market went up, and that affected our economy so badly. So the economy of this country from 1974 to 1990 was not better than was not better as he was trying to tell us. That is not true. In 1986, there was auctioning of the kwacha against the dollar. There was a black market in this country. The economy went down. In 1990, after MMD came to power, there was privatization. And the reasons for privatization was to bring efficiency in the industries, including the mining industry. And we saw in 1994, the economy started improving steadily up to 2014. The economy was messed up. The economy of this country was messed up from 2015 to 2021 by PF. You must understand this. Now, if you go back, if you look at the records today, the economy under the stewardship of President Hakainde Hichilema has started going up. And this is under privatization. Still, why do we go back? Why do you want to go back to a ship that failed us? What kind of thinking is that?
Titanic.
Yeah, what kind of thinking is that? Madam Speaker, the government must not be lured into copying things that are happening elsewhere. We operate in different environments. I think that the people in government, us Zambians, we have got the brains to chart our own way. We've got the brains to bring in our own approaches. Madam Speaker, the government is saying in the mining of gold, we'll have the cooperatives mining the gold, and then Zambia Gold will be the buyer or aggregator, which is a parastatal company
Quality.
under government. That is a novel approach.
Quality.
Why do you want to borrow from elsewhere? Isn't that a good idea? Why don't you wait until we see whether it will do good or bad? Why do you want to go in midway? You want to change course? You are encouraged, Minister of, through you, Madam Speaker, Minister of Mines, you are encouraged to go on this approach that you have devised. Let the cooperatives mine the gold. Let the Zambia Gold, the aggregators, buy the gold and take it to government. ZRA will get its revenues. Just put us into an enclosure so that we mine the gold ourselves. And everybody is free to apply. I think I'm one of the cooperators, and thank you very much, you gave us a license. And that's how it should be. So the government must not be influenced to borrow fake ideas from elsewhere whose environment we don't even know. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Before I call on the next debater, the Honorable Member for Chipili wanted to raise a point of order. What was the point of order?
He has lost his white jacket. Thank you, Madam Speaker. My point of order is on the collaborator. When he was collaborating in his collaboration, stating that we cannot copy what others are doing when he knows that we have been going out for benchmarking every time here. Even himself, he has been going there. Kenya, Tanzania, name it, and getting paid. And then he comes here to say we can't refer to such. I need your serious ruling, Madam Speaker. Standing order number 71. Thank you.
I believe the Honorable Member for Chipili has sufficiently debated his point of order. So the point of order is not admitted. The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am aware that I've been constrained. However, this motion, which my younger brother here, the MP for Nkana, brought and seconded by my other young brother, this one here, the MP for Kanfinsa, it's about control. This is about management. Madam Speaker, these two colleagues recognize that there is currently poor management of these strategic resources. And they bring a proposal to the UPND government for the government to consider a better management of these strategic resources. In fact, they consider gold, sudrite, and emeralds as strategic. I would like to add lithium. Madam Speaker, enhanced control will bring about efficiency. Enhanced control will bring about accuracy. It will also bring about security. Now, this increased efficiency, what will it do to this sector if UPND government decided to heed the advice of these young colleagues of mine? Reduced costs, reduced industry costs. Does the UPND want to reduce the cost of mining in these strategic mineral areas? I would believe so. Madam Speaker, does the UPND want increased profitability in these particular areas? I don't doubt that UPND would want this. And if that is the case, then I see a government which wants more money into the treasury to solve the many problems that the Zambian people are going through right now.
Yeah.
Madam Speaker, what about increased accuracy in terms of the outputs, in terms of the variables that are plucked out of the soil? How will it help you? I think this is important because it will help in terms of decision management. The decisions that the UPND government will come up with as a result of information gathered from the process, the value process of mining, will be better. And so they will decide better. The future will be better. The country will benefit a little more than it is right now. But it won't end there, as I said. Better control, better management will bring about increased security. Some of my friends are members of parliament in constituencies where people have been killed because of lack of good management. Madam Speaker, what do I want to see? Just in case there's gold in Lunte, I want to see UPND to manage that gold in a better way, so that nobody dies, so that there's more profitability coming from that end, so that as I lobby for a bridge at Luangwa, the government is able to finance that.
That's right.
I don't see why suggestions of improvement become a problem in our country. Madam Speaker, this country belongs to the young people. These young people must be supported by us. How do we do so? Like what these young brothers of mine have done. Bring a proposal to government which can enable a future for the young people. Madam Speaker, I want to be very clear on this matter by saying people, particularly those in the UPND, must not be averse to advice. They must be open to advice. You see, in Bemba we say, "Amano yafuma muifwesa, yaya mchulu." That means advice can come from a molehill into a mountain. And we know UPND is our mountain now. It's our mountain now. You can sense how much problems we are going through as a people. But sense can come out of this head, madam, and this one. And this sense should be received by UPND. So I'm very surprised as I stand here that such a clear motion, which is urging for control, which is urging for management, which is urging for value, more value and profitability, can be rejected in that fashion. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am happy for the people of Nkana and the people of Kamfinsa, because these people have elected young men who think for them, who think for the young people, who think for the future of this country. And their thoughts are reflected in the ideas they bring on the floor of the House. This is an impeccable idea. an idea that is difficult to counter. It can only be countered by those who are conditioned to counter. Those who kind of have been told counter, refuse, without necessarily looking at the benefits of the country. Madam Speaker, we stand here to save our people. We stand here to help the UPND government. We stand here to support those who elected us. And I think the people who elected us want more control for their resources. If there is more control for their resources, chances of plunder will be reduced. And nobody can argue here that there has been plunder of Sujrite during the UPND administration. Nobody can argue that there has been plunder of gold during the UPND administration. Nobody, madam, can argue that there has been plunder of lithium. These are strategic minerals. These minerals can help our country. Madam Speaker, with those very few remarks, I wish to support the motion.
Thank you very much. Apologies. Honorable Minister, you wanted to raise a point of order. Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and that.
Madam Speaker, you might be aware that I've never, since I came, risen on a point of order. This could be my maiden point of order. Madam Speaker, when the Honorable Kafuaya was debating, I was very worried, and I know you were also very worried. In the manner that he was debating, maybe for the first time, it was unlike him. Apart from at one point again, he went back to the default settings again. So by the time I was trying to raise the point of order, I wanted to say it is unlike him, Madam Speaker. The way he was debating reasonably for the first time. But again, Madam Speaker, because it took long to be given an opportunity, again, maybe at one point he went to a default as his usual self again. But Madam Speaker, is it in order, Madam Speaker, to now tell members of Parliament that this one and this one, that is unparliamentary, Madam Speaker? Is it in order to point at honorable members, honorable member for Nkana, and for Kamfinsa as brothers here in this house, Madam Speaker? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Order. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that point of order. But unfortunately, since you did not cite any standing order that has been breached, the point of order is not admitted. So we make progress. The next debater will be the Honorable Member for Mongu Central.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to put it on record that we do not support this motion. And just like my brother, Honorable Kafuaya, I also try very much to be constrained, and debate by putting facts as they are. Madam Speaker, when I was in high school, the last rule on the headmaster's rules, or that lack of common sense, was very punishable, even then. So I would just want to state facts as they are, because we know currently we are struggling with reaching 1 million metric tons per annum. The Honorable Minister of Finance will tell you that. But we were there in we were there. Wait hang on. We are talking about mining.
The honorable members that are
Yes.
supporting the motion, give chance
Yes.
to.
No, we are talking about mining. So when the mining
It's
of
the
this
whole
country,
subject of
the whole
mining.
subject of
Of
mining.
course, order.
Let me
Order,
put it on
order.
record. Let me help my colleagues.
Order, honorable
Thank you.
members. There is need to compare as you discuss, as you debate, because we are talking about mining. So let the honorable member for Mongo continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Because from 1928 to 1969, we are going to talk about the production side of things in terms of copper and other strategic and critical minerals. But we are going to cite copper in this instance, which was under the private hands, being privately mined. From 1928 to 1969, the mining sector in this country was under the private hands of two companies, Anglo-American and Ron Selection Trust. And it was only and production then was about 700, it was reaching 720,000 tons per annum. By the time the statistics my brother, Honorable Mpundu, is quoting of Korea, the Zambian economy being greater than Korea per GDP per capita, that was in 1969, when the mining was being done by the private sector in this country. It was only in 1969 when the government started talking about nationalization, which took about 3 years to happen, and by 1973, the ZCCM was formed. All right? When ZCCM was formed, the production in that year was 720,000 tons per annum. And it was then, during that year, because of investor jittery, that production began to drop. From 720,000 in the 70s, it started dropping all the way up to 1991, when it fell to 250,000 tons, when President Chiluba decided to reprivatize. So the point here is, why would you want to go back to give government the chance to start mining when they had failed in the first place? Why would you want? That's lack of common sense. My headmaster, Mr. Mansa, would have punished you for that already. So what happened then was that while we benefit from 19...
The honorable member for Mongo Central, the use of the word lack of common sense in the context that you have used is unparliamentary. Please use a better word.
We want to withdraw that, Madam Speaker. But the point we are saying that we can't go back to what has failed. We can't do non reverse in this instance. Because what happened was that whilst we were benefiting from 1970, because the machinery, the plant, the smelters were still in good condition, but government failed to invest into technology. They failed to invest into the new mining technology, failed to invest into the smelters, failed to invest into the refineries. They were just taking the money because government usually has other priorities to meet the basic needs of the people. They don't have, government's main responsibility is to build roads, to provide water, to provide medicine in the hospital, to provide basic infrastructure. That's what the people really want. So any government that invests in the mining sector is a very expensive business. So you wouldn't want to take the much scarce resources to try to create profit for the shareholders. By the way, when we are talking about this government wanting a private-driven economy, we are not saying a foreign-driven economy. Please, let's get that right. Zambians can be partners as private citizens, as private investors in the mining sector. I think the Honorable Minister of Mines was on point yesterday. He encouraged all of us, even as members of Parliament, to come up with consortiums as private investors so that we can as well be shareholders in this mining sector, so that we can create the businesses, the profits, then the country, the government can get tax from these investments. That's what we want to do. So why would you want to encourage government, which has so much enormous responsibility, to be in the mainstream of mining operations? It beats, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it beats, sometimes I sit here, I get so much irritated because, ignorance irritates me sometimes. So you want to make sure that when...
Order, honorable members from Mongu Central, now you are irritating the whole house.
I apologize,
Use
I
your
withdraw.
words
Let me put it in perspective, Madam Speaker. By the 20 years that system was in power, there were only 22,000 direct jobs. In other words, each year of the 20 years, that system was in power.
Order, honorable members for Kafinsa and Nkana, I've already guided the honorable member. Because you are honorable member for Nkana. Honorable member for Nkana, if you were listening, I was guiding the honorable member for Mongu Central. So you cannot, because you are debating, you are not listening even to what is happening in the house. Yeah. I was guiding. Even when I'm talking now, you are still talking to honorable member for Mongu Central. So how will you hear what is happening? Let's listen to each other first. Honorable member for Mongu Central, please, can you moderate your language?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Let me try to constrain myself. And I want to say that while the mining sector was under ZCCM for approximately 20 years, this mining sector had only 22,000 jobs, direct jobs created. And for the 20 years that the ZCCM was in charge, they were losing 2,000, to put it in perspective, Madam Speaker, it's 2,000 jobs per year that were being lost. And by the time reprivatization happened in 1994, under ZCCM, a government-controlled entity, Zambia was now the 25th poorest country in the world. Now, why would you want to go back there, honestly? It beats my understanding, Madam Speaker. It's a pity. It really, I don't understand. You may help me. But this thinking fails me. So the point here is Zambians, we must encourage our Zambians. We must create ways of raising capital. We can come together as private citizens to form consortiums, to form entities that we can invest in the mining sector. So that this economy is privately driven by private Zambians. The difference between Margaret Thatcher's privatization and Zambia's privatization is because Margaret Thatcher privatized to the British citizens. Our privatization that happened in 1991 went to the foreign citizens mostly. They were the shareholders of these things. Yeah. So we need to change the narrative so that we Zambians, as private citizens, can be in the forefront of owning the wealth of this country. We must move away from the thinking that when we talk about private investment, we are thinking of foreign investment. No, private investment can be Zambian driven. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed, there was an indication for a point of order. Honorable member for Kamfisa, what was the point of order, or it has been overtaken by events?
Madam Speaker, I have never raised the point of order in my 4 years here. Today I was compelled. Standing Order 71, Madam Speaker, the debater who has just finished submitting his debate, Madam Speaker, has used inappropriate language in this House. And Madam Speaker, it is always important that when we are debating, we all learn from each other. But when the language is inappropriate, Madam Speaker, a wrong environment is created. Is the Honorable Member of Parliament for Mongu Central someone that we respect as an adult? Is he in order to use the language that he just used during his debate, Madam Speaker? Is he in order, Madam Speaker?
Honorable Member for Nkana, if you were following the proceedings, Honorable Member for Mongu Central was properly guided. in terms of, I think I did it 3 times. So the point of order is overtaken by events. It cannot be sustained. Let's go to the next honorable member from Pika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. And let me begin by commending the mover and the seconder of the motion. Madam Speaker, this motion is very important. As it were, the role of government is to distribute national resources for the benefit of our people. And for government to deliver services to our people, there must be matching resources. This is the more reason why this motion is seeking that government takes control of Suchlight, gold, and emerald mining, so that the government could be having the much needed resources to invest in infrastructure development. Unlike now, where the coal mining, which is copper, is run by foreigners. And when they make money, they externalize, which money creates jobs elsewhere. The mover and the seconder of the motion, their own wisdom, they have realized how we have been struggling as a country to develop our country. They are saying, let's have gold, copper, and emerald controlled 100% by government, so that when they realize the resources, they put the resources in service delivery. That is what this motion is seeking to cure, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me state that I therefore support this motion. And I have heard various arguments from different debaters on the floor of the House. Others are even saying, why should we go back to 1969? Madam Speaker, there is no one saying let's go back to 1969. And if anything is the case, anyone patriotic today, Madam Speaker, can call for us to have what Kaunda did, which was called the Material Declaration, when he took over the Ramcos and writing of other foreign companies. Because our people then were not benefiting, just like it is today. Madam Speaker, everything that is mined, we only collect taxes. Now we don't even collect taxes. And Madam Speaker, that money, Madam Speaker, I need your protection, or I will protect myself.
Honorable members, as you discuss, please be factual. The issue that the government is not collecting taxes is not factual. So please be factual. I don't want points of order. Can we allow the honorable member to continue? You will be able to respond.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what I was saying is currently what is happening. Even then, Madam Speaker, when you read the Amnesty International report of 2023, they reported our country annually loses $4.5 billion to corporate tax evasion, which means as a country we are losing a lot. In fact, we are losing more than we are earning from our mining sector. And Madam Speaker, this is what, by the government taking over the mining of gold, Suchlight, and emerald, our people will be benefiting. Madam Speaker, currently, we are benefiting almost nothing. Literally, Madam Speaker. The money that we are using for development, infrastructure development, including CDF, is borrowed money, Madam Speaker. Yeah. But if the government was involved in gold, emerald, and Suchlight mining, the government would be funding our infrastructure development directly, Madam Speaker. This is what we are saying. Yeah. And this is what the mover and the seconder of the motion are saying. Yeah. They are not. And why should we, for God's sake, why should we feel happy that foreigners are mining? They are in mining, they are in fish farming, they are in block making, they are in everything. Which sector can we run, Madam Speaker? It actually breeds me. It breeds me, Madam Speaker, that this motion, instead of supporting this motion, one would rather support that foreigners continue. Even in illegal mining, Madam Speaker, foreigners right now are in the bush mining our resources. If the government was involved, Madam Speaker, in these minerals mining, the government will have the resources, the much needed resources to invest in taking our children to school from grade 1 up to university. Free, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if the government was involved in mining, the road from Mpika to Nabwaria was going to be constructed. Madam Speaker, if the government was involved in gold mining, the township roads in Mpika would be constructed. In fact, if anything is the case, Madam Speaker, mining in Mpika will be created where currently the oil area is littered with the illegal mining. Madam Speaker, even those who are doing illegal mining, it's not that they want. It's on that for them to come and get a license from Mpika to come here, they have to prepare more than 10,000 kwacha to pay for transport, for accommodation, and other costs, Madam Speaker, because this government has not decentralized the issuance of artisanal mining licenses. The government must be involved. Honorable Minister, there must be a legacy that you should live in that ministry, that when you served as a minister, the government took over, which is a drastic decision, the running or rather the mining of gold, emerald, and sugilite. We hear every year how Zambian emerald was auctioned for millions and millions of dollars at the international market. Look what they are accruing benefits for our people, nothing. Our people just in Mtendere, our people in Kalingalinga, our people in Chiturika are wallowing in abject poverty, and it does not even penny anyone. They can support, they can even say, why do you want to take us? They can even call names those who are moving such progressive motions. In whose interest do you serve? Because if really you serve the interest of the Zambian people, you cannot, not even an inch, stand to object to this motion. Because this motion is what protects the interest of the Zambian people. If at all yours is to serve the interest of the Zambian people, why are you not supporting such a progressive motion? Madam Speaker, this motion must be supported by all those who have the interest of the Zambian people at heart. We are here to serve the interest of the Zambian people. And if the government took over the mining of emerald, the sugilite, and gold, our people will start having real benefit trickling down to them. Unlike now, when the foreigners have to externalize whatever they make in terms of profits, and who is even saving the interest of the foreigners? In here, we are going to see who serves the interest of the foreigners, Madam Speaker, at the interest of the Zambian people. Madam Speaker, this motion, again, I want to commend you, my honorable colleagues, for this progressive motion. This motion is in the best interest of the Zambian people. Today, the Zambian people are not benefiting anything from the mines. Even the elite in terms of gold, the emerald, and sugilite. You have to support them, Madam Speaker. And those who are saying question are the ones serving the interest of foreigners. We know who you are serving. You are not serving the interest of the Zambian people. You are saying questions because you are serving the interest of the foreigners. You, the Kwenyu people, are serving the interest of the foreigners. You are serving the interest.
Order, honorable members. It's just a motion. Let's not be emotional. Oh, sorry, honorable minister, for comments. I had indicated that there will be no point of order so that we have a flow in the debate. But now that the honorable member from Pika has sat down, you are given an opportunity. What's the point of order?
Point of order, Madam Speaker, is coming on standing order number 71 on content of speech, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, is the honorable member from Pika, who I love so dearly, in order to mislead the House that we are using CDF from borrowed money, when CDF finance, Madam Speaker, is resources generated by government through prudent use of taxpayers' money. Madam Speaker, may the member of parliament from Pika tell the country where we have borrowed CDF money, how much CDF money we have borrowed, because the Minister of Finance is here, cabinet members are here, members of parliament are there, who authorized the borrowing of money. Is he in order to mislead the House and himself that the money that the government is generating through taxpayers' money, using prudently to develop areas like Impika, Chingola, and other places, money generated from ourselves, that it's borrowed money? Is he in order, Madam Speaker? I seek your serious ruling. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The honorable members, as we debate, let's be factual. Honorable member from Pika, order. You need to be factual. If you have evidence to show that the government, the CDF that is being given is borrowed money, which was not approved by this honorable House, then that is a serious issue which you should prove.
Yes.
The standing orders requires us to be factual. I'm not engaging with you, honorable member from Pika. I'm guiding. So please, let's be factual. So the honorable member from Pika was out of order to allege that the CDF is borrowed money.
It's always out of order.
So it's out of order. Let's make progress. The honorable member from Bavala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Babara an opportunity to speak on this motion. I think from the outset, Madam Speaker, we want to, the people of Babara wish to state that this is a brought-in dead motion because, Madam Speaker, we are way past the government regulation regimes. As ably debated by my colleagues, Madam Speaker, Zambia, post-independence, had a state-controlled economy to which mining and related services in those same areas mentioned were at the center of productivity. And we saw, Madam Speaker, how this country crashed in the 80s into the 90s, leading to the multi-party changes, which actually emanated from a lot of issues related to mining. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we cannot go back to what has failed, the failed theories that were not practical of having government to take over mining of gold, sodalite, and gemstones. Our UPND manifesto is very clear on a market-led economy. And the market regulates itself. The market reacts to the conditions that are available in the country. And the market maximizes production. And it is from that policy direction of the UPND government, Madam Speaker, that we have seen the market react very well to the UPND government by increasing productivity because of the policy environment that has removed issues from the courts into the mines, that has allowed private investment into the mining sector, leading into the opening of so many new mines around the country, including Mingomba, just here in Mombwa, and also the Kasenseri mines in Mwinuronga, and many others that are coming on board. The investments are so much, and we can even see and check the investment report from Zambia Development Agency that demonstrates huge investments in under 4 years of the UPND New Dawn government, based on the policy environment and market conditions that Zambia has set. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we don't repair what is working. We don't disturb what is working. What the UPND has done has demonstrated work. It is from what the UPND New Dawn government, ably led by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, that we have seen this country come out of the coma, come out of the toilet, which was at negative 2% of GDP, and now to 6.4% of GDP. Therefore, Zambia is now thriving, Madam Speaker, because it was in negative, it was in the junk, it was in the toilet, but now it's thriving. The fact that it's thriving now, Madam Speaker, we need now not go back to things
the
that...
Honorable Member from Bavala, I missed the word that you used.
Madam Speaker...
In what context were you saying toilet?
I'm describing the past economy, Madam Speaker, which was not performing, which was in a junk state of negative 2%. When you put a number line, Madam Speaker, there is a negative side and a positive side.
Please kindly withdraw the word toilet.
All right, Madam Speaker, I withdraw and replace it, maintain the junk state.
Proceed.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. So, as a student of development economics, Madam Speaker, it is very clear that we have to support the market to operate and bring in those resources that we may not have. Indeed, we have our own resources. And these resources have to combine with other international resources. And that is what is going on, Madam Speaker. Zambians are there in all these mines. They are there in Mingomba, they are there in Barrick, they are there in Umwana, they are there in Mopani, and all these mines and many others that are opening. They are there. Even in the Gemstone, Kajam, and others, and the like. Zambians are there. I've got even my personal relatives that are investors in the Kajam mining. And so, they are making money. That doesn't mean that, Madam Speaker, the private sector has failed. That doesn't mean that, Madam Speaker, Zambia Revenue Authority has failed to collect the money. ZRA has ably demonstrated how it's collecting a lot of revenue as a result of the quality policy environment. I think some of my colleagues maybe missed they need to be workshopped because the ZRA DG held a pre-budget meeting for members of parliament here where they demonstrated clearly how much revenue has increased as a result of corrections from the mines and the many other sectors. Those corrections, Madam Speaker, demonstrate that the ambition as set out in the visionary statement by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema here for 3 million metric tons of copper is going to be met in the near future because we are already approaching the 1 million metric tons. And this is demonstrating that the policy environment and the conditions are correct and we are on the right trajectory. And therefore, we cannot, like I said earlier, change what is working, but we need to just support and continuously make improvements. The people of Mbawara, therefore, Madam Speaker, wholeheartedly reject this motion because this motion does not add value to this country. It actually takes us back 50 years back, to just about the time we were getting independence. And so those theories and the thinking is archaic and colonial, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I have indication of 2 honorable members who want to debate, looking at the time. So maybe I can give them 4 minutes each if they still want to debate. Honorable member from Mwembeji and Kalabo Central, 4 minutes each. Is that okay? We start with the honorable member from Mwembeji.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm grateful for giving me this time to add my word to this debate. Madam Speaker, first and foremost, I'm really puzzled. I'm puzzled because I don't know where the young men were in 2021 and 2020. Because, Madam Speaker, these licenses where they are mining gold like Asenseri, where they are mining Sujilite in Luapula, they were not given by UPND. They were actually given by the PF. Now, when those licenses were being given, I wonder where they were. In our language, we say, Mwana nzoka, ninzoka. What I'm saying is, a snake can only beget a snake. Those are a product of the PF. Why didn't they advise their government then that they should do? When I look at him, you, Madam Speaker, the gold was there in Kasenseri. The people who were mining that gold were getting dollars, burning them in a brazier, and doing all sorts of things, marrying 10 women. And then they could not plan that this money is for the people of Zambia, so that they could actually make that gold into a government property. But today they have got the audacity to come and tell us now that no, can we do such a thing? Madam Speaker, these people...
Honorable Member for Mwembeji, order. Order, Honorable Member for Mwembeji, please be factual. The things that we are saying, that 10 women... Be factual, please.
I've withdrawn the idea of marrying 10 women, but they were burning money. These people, Madam Speaker, you saw them even you, Madam Speaker. They are burning money, dollars, from the gold which we are talking about in Kasenseri. Now, today they want to come and teach us how to regulate this resource for the people of Zambia. They are actually along the advisors, because they cannot advise us now because they failed. Where were they in 2021, these people? Madam Speaker, if there is anything which is very bad for the investor, you go to America, you go to Paris, the president is going around trying to lobby for people to come and mine and invest into Zambia, into emeralds, invest into sugilite. Then as the people are trying to come, you want to go back and tell them that, no, we are now restricting to Zambians. What type of thinking is that? Chasing investors? No. You know, let me explain, Madam Speaker. These people are trying to seek sympathy that they are doing something very good. Yet, the gold we are talking about is going to be mined by the Zambian people and aggregated by Zambian conglomerate. So, what are they talking about? The sugilite we are talking about, it is being mined by Zambian investors. You don't know. So if you don't know, come and ask. These people, Madam Speaker, they don't know anything about mining. Me, I worked in the Ministry of Mines. I know what I'm talking about. So if someone is talking about mine, 3/4 of the licenses which are held, they're held by Zambians. These people should be encouraged that, what should we do? If someone is mining gold as a Zambian, we should encourage people not to sell their licenses. If people are mining sugilite, we should tell them not to sell their licenses, because we cannot stand here, invite people. After inviting them, we change the goalpost. How are they going to look at us? Madam Speaker, I was here in the last parliament.
Thank you. Wind up. Your time is up.
I was here in the last parliament, Madam Speaker. That committee for budget was always sitting, amending what the budget, what do you call those things where you... Yes, supplementary budget, and amending the budget, trying to see how we are going to acquire money. But you see, nowadays when the budget committee is sitting, we are not actually changing things every year. The minister was always bringing changing. You remember, Madam Speaker, these people, because of their inconsistencies, at some point, they wanted to bring even sales tax. 2 days later, they invest and change. These are very inconsistent people. They are actually...
Thank you. Thank you. You can make us laugh. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central, please, 4 minutes, because we are running out of time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll start by defining the word state. The state is a political entity with a defined territory, a permanent population, and a government that exercises sovereignty. That's the state. Now, The motion is suggesting, is urging that the state to own, to take part seriously in gold, in emerald, in sudrite. Madam Speaker, I'm a Zambia, and this word state, it will be very difficult for me to stand here to say that the state cannot. For me, my conscience, Madam Speaker, can't allow me to say that a state can't. What is a state? The state is full of authority. The state is full of technicalities. The state is full of mandates. And you tell me that a state can't. 61 years. You see, this is where we miss it. Madam Speaker, 61 years. Surely. You are telling me that the population of Zambia cannot handle in an organized manner, which is called a state. Are you telling me that the current state cannot handle? Maybe people are lost. You see, if there was no word state, Madam Speaker, I wouldn't have stood here. For me, I really stand. I've seen, I've experienced. When UNIP was governing this country, I have experienced it myself. If it was not for UNIP to get hold of the copper, I don't know, maybe today I would not be standing here. Because I don't have my father. My mother was just a housewife, and I was assisted by my uncle. So, because of the prudence, or because of the strength, because of the capabilities of the UNIP government, it managed to handle the copper. It managed to get the money and build schools, and build hospitals, and build the Tazara, and build the Iteshteji hydro, and build, I mean, yes. Okay. It's up to you.
Order,
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Kalao, please be factual.
Be factual.
I'm very factual.
No, you are not factual.
Madam Speaker,
You are not factual.
we belong to different schools. Me, I belong to a school that promotes state ownership. So I cannot say against it, because I've seen what a state can do. It is the state, through Zambia National Service, that has gone into maize production. Has it failed? It hasn't failed. So, anyway, it's up to us. If you want more resources, enhanced control, the state has the power to do that. If you want to continue lobbying, suffering like this, it's up to us.
Your time is up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Information.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity that I may add or ventilate on the motion on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, let me begin by indicating, first of all, that my debate is holistic in terms of outlook relating to the motion on the floor of the House, and therefore indicates that the New Dawn administration's economic transformation agenda overarching objectives stand mainly on, inter alia, 4 pillars. Number 1, encouraging investments into the economy, both local and international. Number 2, promotion of joint ventures between the local and foreign direct investors in recognition of the fact that we as citizens may be endowed with natural resources such as the minerals we here today talk about, but without the relevant and necessary financial capacity to exploit them to translate into value for our citizens. Hence, the emphasis on joint ventures. And that is why, Madam Speaker, under the new Dawn administration, you have seen consistency in the mining sector in terms of ensuring that Lubambe mine, 30% ownership is for the state, and KCM, 21% is for the state. And Mopane, Madam Speaker, from the previous 15% is now standing at 49% ownership of the state. And therefore, it is gravely and hair-raising to hear a member of parliament on the floor of this house purport that mining in this country is foreign-owned. I think we need a bit more information from the Minister of Mines or workshops on this particular issue, because shareholding talks about ownership and therefore dividend accruing to shareholders. Madam Speaker, let me also emphasize that the idea of the promotion of joint ventures is in recognition presently that the new Dawn administration of President Hakainde Hichilema inherited a debt-laden economy, one where, as of November 2020, this economy defaulted de facto in junk state. And today you come and say, let us extricate private sector from participation in the mining of these minerals as we are now debating. I think this particular motion, Madam Speaker, is misplaced, is fallacious, is mischievous, is sensational, and meant to attain cheap political mileage. Because some of the things that were ventilated by the mover of the motion are already being done by this government, if only he cared to address his mind to the Mineral Regulation Commission, which provides for government participation in mining in respect of what they, as promoters of this motion, are talking about. Number 3, Madam Speaker, the new Dawn administration is talking about promoting value addition to ensure that the minerals we mine, we don't export them raw, but that we value add so that we retain the job component. And number 4, of course, Madam Speaker, infrastructure development. Madam Speaker, I would like to indicate and argue, and I put it to the mover of the motion, that mining relating to the minerals he has referred to is an expensive endeavor. And an example has been given here about Kasenseri Gold, which was operational but went under. It had to take President Hakainde Hichilema's new Dawn administration to resuscitate that particular mine. And this kind of thinking, of always thinking nationalization, that only the state can do things, this is the perilous, trodden path that the previous administration once dragged this country into when they sought to liquidate KCM. And you saw what happened, Madam Speaker, from the production of 250,000 metric tons of copper to only 8,000 metric tons of copper. And the people who were benefiting were individuals, some of which, after change of government, had to return to the treasury $24 million. This is a mischief that we should not be able to get back to in the present moment. Mining is not cheap. And that is why the president is emphasizing on JVs, joint ventures, to ensure that while we retain the resource, the mineral, we should allow those who have the capital to bring in to play so that we get value out of it. It is as well. You can have the mineral and you want to own it, but if you don't have capacity to exploit it, it is as good as worthless. It is said, a resource is not, it becomes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also want to indicate here that government is not in government for business. It is in government to facilitate for business. Government of the New Dawn administration of President Hakainde Hichilema recognizes the important role that the private sector plays in job creation, in business expansion, to contribute to overall economic development. And that is why this government, in terms of the mining sector, has gone about to give artisanal mining licenses to ensure that Zambians participate. By nomenclature, Madam Speaker, to say restrict mining to the state, that alone means you are excluding citizens, because the state is not the citizens. The state is not the citizens. The citizens are private players. We would have loved to hear somewhere where in the motion we would have been talking about allowing, if the motion was talking about allowing Zambians to mine, maybe one would give it a second look. But if you are talking about the restrict mining to the state, I think that should be looked at with melancholy and should be spat upon with disgust, because we know where we have come from, Madam Speaker. And let me also indicate here that with the passage of the statutory instrument relating to the local content, it has been overwhelmingly well received by all well-meaning Zambians. Those who know that we need foreign direct investment for our economy to grow. Those who know that Dubai has grown not by its own resources, but by the funding from outside enterprising in Dubai. We are that kind of generation and a party in government under able leadership of a president who understands.
Thank you. Sorry,
economic.
we are in dying. It's dying time now. We only have 10 minutes before we adjourn, so we need to finish this motion. If you can wind up, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. Those who can't hear over little, they can't hear over more. This motion is a BID. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I have indication from the Honorable Minister of Commerce, the Honorable Minister of Mines, then the Commerce and the Finance, and the Minister of Mines to wind up. 3 minutes each.
Madam Speaker, 3 minutes is sufficient because the Member of Parliament for Choma, Minister of Information, has really elaborated it very well. Madam Speaker, getting the state to manage these resources is a deprivation of local Zambians to participate in the growth of our economy. And again, it will render this government inconsistent in our policy pronouncements. The private sector, Madam Speaker, who are Zambians, should be engaged. And that's why the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources has been on a very vigorous and mammoth task of giving small-scale licenses to Zambians in minerals like gold and the ones that have been mentioned today. Madam Speaker, we will not deprive our very own young Zambians to own mines because the state should be there. Madam Speaker, we saw when the state was running these enterprises, including my dear brothers who are the movers of this motion, the government they saved, the PF. They owned KCM, they owned Mopani. What happened? They ran them down. Now the government has come to put in the private hands. The same scenario, Madam Speaker, is what this government wants to protect. Local content, Madam Speaker, is something that should be taken seriously. Both government, opposition, and independent members of parliament. It is something now, Madam Speaker, that will enrich Zambians. Not the 20% we used to talk about in the past. It is now about value, Madam Speaker. This president, who in the past was abused to be a stooge of the whites, of the imperialists, of the foreign investors, has proved that he is indeed a stooge of the local Zambians by now empowering them to share in the resources that we are seeing in the mines that are owned by foreign nationals. Madam Speaker, Mopani which we owned, about 15 or 20% was mentioned by the Minister of Information. We have scaled up to 49% shares, Madam Speaker. While bringing, Madam Speaker, investment that is good in technology with the right capital. We cannot shy away, Madam Speaker, of attracting foreign direct investment and also private investment from the locals. Madam Speaker, it is critical
to understand that, yes, we have mastered the development of how as Zambians we can mine. How as Zambians, Madam Speaker, we've been mining for 100 years. But we are now lacking capital. We are lacking the technology. Therefore, we need to partner with other private players in Zambia and outside. Madam Speaker, I stand strongly for the first time to reject vehemently this BID motion in the House. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I also reject this bill. And in doing so, Madam Speaker, I repeat what I've always said, especially for the young people, invest in knowledge. Because when you don't have the knowledge, you end up being a danger to yourself. Madam Speaker, the colleagues there were very happy, saying that under state ownership, the mining sector did well. This is where the lack of knowledge comes through. Because under state ownership, production of copper fell from 750,000 tons to only 250,000 tons. With that, there was no foreign exchange. The economy that you claim was doing very well, at this time, madam, to buy toilet paper, you had to go in a queue. To buy mealie meal, you had to go in a queue. To go and buy soap, you had to stand in a queue. Where was the good economy? Is this the kind of good economy you're talking about? Madam Speaker, the revenue of the state disappeared. This is why the free education that UNIP started with became impossible. This is why infrastructure like roads and so forth deteriorated. This is why Tazara deteriorated. This is why Zambia Railways deteriorated, because there was no copper to carry. So, Madam Speaker, even during that time, when they took over the mines, they closed the mines. This was state ownership. They closed the mines. How do you expect mines that you close to benefit the Zambians? Where is the logic of this? Madam Speaker, I don't have much time, so let me just say that you've got your reasoning totally wrong. Totally wrong. And you need to go to the library, the University of Zambia, read the books, know the stories, and then you make proper recommendations. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development. We adjourn at 18:30, so please, 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I thank you. I do not support this motion. 3 minutes is very little for me, but I'll try, because there are so many, statements that have been made on the other side of the people supporting the motion, which are very, very wrong. Madam Speaker, benefit from the mining sector does not come by government controlling any resource. Benefit from the mining sector comes about, number one, like I said yesterday, it's leadership. Madam Speaker, as we sit right now, the only authority to give a
Sorry, Honorable Minister, if you want to say more, then we can leave it until tomorrow.
No, because okay. Madam Speaker, tomorrow I'm out
All
of
right.
town, by the way.
Okay, thank you then, please.
So I want to conclude, Madam Speaker, by saying that we do not support this motion. I think the thoughts and presentations by my colleagues who do not support, I take them as mine. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member Fonkana. 1 minute, winding up debate.
Madam Speaker, the economy is bleeding. Our economy is stressed. Our people are overburdened by taxes. Time has come for us to harness our resources. This motion is seeking for government to harness our own resources, as opposed to always giving our resources to these foreigners. For the first time, this August House can go in history by doing what is right for our people. We can't be a people that continues to invest our God-given resources in the hands of foreigners, and we are very proud to stand and object. We are comfortable, we can even proud that we are leaders. I don't want to be part of a generation that invested what God had given us in the hands of foreigners. That's why I came to this August House, Madam Speaker, to urge my colleagues. The time has come for us to look to ourselves, as opposed to going with a begging bow continuously to borrow and borrow to spend in social sectors. We can look to our own resources that God gave us. That is why I brought this motion. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Order. I put up the question. The question is that this House urges government to restrict the mining of gold, emeralds, and sujilite to the state. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary, say no. I think the noes have it. The question is negative. Her Honor the Vice President. Adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House now adjourns.
As no notice of an item for debate on the motion of adjournment of the House has been received, I put the question. The question is that the House now adjourns. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Thank you so much. You're watching Parliament Television, and the House has adjourned, meaning the House will sit tomorrow at 14:30 hours. Time now to look at the business which was considered on the floor of the House today, 29th October 2025.
There was one announcement that was made by the Right Honourable Madam Speaker, where she recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from our Lusungu Christian Academy in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker did warmly welcome the visitors to the National Assembly.
After those announcements, there were urgent matters without notice under Standing Order 142.
And about three urgent matters without notice were considered, and three questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80 were also considered on the floor of the House. We also had two motions.
Yes, indeed, President. So the first one did come from Mr. Anton Mumba. He moved a motion titled Create a National Miners' Day, that this House urges the government to create a National Miners' Day in recognition of the contribution of miners to development. And the motion was seconded by Mr. Maveta, who is a Kankoyo member of Parliament, and the motion was resolved.
The other motion that was considered on the floor of the House was moved by Mr. Beno Mpundu, Nkana member of Parliament, and this motion was urging the government to restrict the mining of gold, emeralds, and sujilite to the state. And this motion was seconded by Kamfinsa member of Parliament, Mr. Christopher Kangombe. And quite a number of members of Parliament did express interest by debating this motion. And when the question was put, the motion was negative. So basically, the motion didn't go through. So Joe, basically, that's a business that has been considered on the floor of the House today from the time business resumed at 14:30. And we need to leave now.
Yes, President, we need to leave. And the House commences tomorrow at 14:30 hours.
On behalf of our two sign language interpreters, that's Chola Kauman Jason Manda. My name is Paulson Tindog. On behalf of Joe Akatama, we're saying thank you so much and have a pleasant evening.